Hey everyone, and welcome to the NintendoFuse Podcast. This is episode 222, entitled Nintendo Direct Reactions from February 17th, 2021. My name is Steve, and of course I am joined, as always, by Greg and Barry. How are you guys doing? Hey Greg, hey Barry. I'll let you just jump in. Who wants to answer first? How you guys doing?
Go for it, Greg.
And they said they're silent.
Everyone, great to be back. I always love talking games, and so glad we finally got that Nintendo Direct.
Absolutely.
I'm here too, and I'm happy, and I'm excited, and God, it feels like forever since we've done one of these.
I know. It has been. I think Jakester actually put in the chat last time. It was ridiculous how long it's been. It's like a year and a half since we've been doing this. I think the last one was in September 2019. Is that right?
Yep.
Am I remember correctly?
Yep.
That's amazing in a bad way. But yeah, we're going to be talking all about the Nintendo Direct tonight. Our reactions, discussion around what has been shown off on February 17th. But before we get into that, we just want to thank you guys for tuning in tonight. Thanks so much for, especially those that are tuning in live. We absolutely love chatting with you guys during the live show. So if you've never joined us in a live show, we just encourage you guys to do that. Tuesdays is normally the day we record at 8:30 p.m. Eastern time and 5:30 p.m. Pacific time, and you guys can figure out in the middle. Those of us that are in the Central and Mountain time zones, like Greg and I, we can do some math. But yeah, Jakester says 530 days since the last one. That's ridiculous how long it's been. But yeah, thank you guys so much for jumping in there. Jakester, Dave, Jared are in there. I know S'more is probably going to jump in throughout the evening. If you are joining us live, we'd love for you guys to jump in and talk about all the stuff that we're talking about. Let us know your thoughts. We'll refer to the chat as much as we can throughout the evening. Also, if you've not followed us on social media and our Discord, we would absolutely love for you guys to do that. We're at NintendoFuse on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And then you can also join our Discord for conversations beyond what we can do on social media in between the shows. We absolutely love chatting with you guys in there. So you can see the link on the screen or in the show notes, the podcast show notes, and also the YouTube description. Yeah, just make sure you join that now or later. Either way, we'd love for just keep that conversation going. If you are new to the NintendoFuse Podcast, we encourage you guys to hit that subscribe button on wherever platform you're listening or watching. If it's on YouTube, also hit that like button and hit that bell to be alerted every time we post a new video. Every time we go live like this, and also hit that share button. That's a huge benefit for us and our community that keeps growing here at NintendoFuse. But before we jump into all the Nintendo Direct information tonight, we've got to be talking about what we've been playing lately, because of course we still been playing games. There's a lot of news, but we're still playing games. So Barry, what have you been up to over this last week?
Yeah, so this past week was a slower week because I was really anticipating this week. So I didn't really plan to play that much, but I did find myself back into Mario 3D World. The week prior, I did Bowser's Fury. I just found myself in 3D World for fun, and I wound up completely beating the game outside of Champions Road, and I was like, screw it. A few tries, and I'm like, you know what, I'm done with it. But it's such a blast. The game is just such a blast, and so much fun just to run through. So I did that. Animal Crossing, still getting ready for the Mario items, which we'll talk about in a bit. Still just doing my daily check-ins, and I'm down to 9 recipes out of all the DIYs, so I'm really close. I'm trying to find those last ones. And then I also did a game that we'll be talking about here in a little bit, so I'm not going to go into detail, but the Project Triangle strategy demo, I did try that on the Switch. For the PS4 and 5, I did nothing during the whole week until today, when Persona 5 Strikers came out, and I am doing the PS4 version, but I did get the Switch version. But I did hear it performs a little better on the PS4, so I'm playing that version. Love Persona 5, love the music, just just really cool to see a continuation, and very interesting to go from turn-based RPG to hack and slash RPG. But it works so far. I mean, I'm still really early in the game, but it's working so far. But I'll have more of an update next week. On the PC, still doing Final Fantasy 14. I used this week actually to do a lot of the grinds I needed. They just added the latest form of relic weapon, so I finished that up. And just having a blast. I just so much content in that game. I absolutely love it. And on mobile, I'm still doing Mario Kart Tour and finishing up the tour tonight. And it's been a struggle to try to get first place, but I'm trying. And Dragalia Lost, it's still holding my interest. And there's new events every single week, so I'm loving it.
Nice. Going to the chat, it looks like Jakster's put what he's been playing recently. We'd encourage the rest of you guys to do that as well if you're watching live, or let us know after the fact in the comments too. Jakester says he's been playing FGO, Genshin Impact, and did a little bit of the Project Triangle strategy demo until it crashed. But also played some Tokyo Mirage sessions and downloaded the Pikmin 1 for his marathon that he's going to be starting next week. So that's cool. Be sure to let us know what you guys have been playing, like I said, live or after the fact as well. Greg, what have you been up to over this last week?
Yeah, a number of games going on over here, so barely holding on with Animal Crossing. The time seems like it's like hit its toll until like the update launches later this week. Over the last like 2 or 3 days, really been hitting hard with Super Mario Odyssey with my daughter. She's got super infatuated with it and replaying through like the games on a fresh save file. It's very fun, and forgot how much fun I had while playing it. And just being able to my daughter's Switch, it's been a lot of fun. We've been collecting a lot of the moons together and revisiting a lot of the kingdoms. It's kind of forgot what a great and wonderful game it was, and pretty much I've been controlling Cappy for the most part, unless it's like a boss battle, and then she's like, "Here, Daddy, you do it." And then she takes control of Cappy to hit like one of the brodals or whatever for me to be able to help and actually stomp on their head. So, yep. So that was pretty fun to play over the last few days at least. Then moving on from there, I still was doing Pokemon Sword. I got finally beat the fire and water gyms. So I have 3 of the badges: the grass, water, and fire. So I'm still slowly progressing there. I did have like 1 day of Pikmin 3 just to finish it off before I had to go back to the library. So it was nice to have the story mode fully completed outside of like the 100% on the side missions. A game I picked up was Thomas Was Alone. It's a very interesting puzzle platformer game that has like a little bit of a story to it, so that there's just like these generic shapes like rectangles and of different sizes and shapes, and they all have different properties of like jumping or like width, where they can't jump as high. And there's other ones that have you can like bounce on like it's like a springboard. And there's even one that can like float in the water, and the water is like a hazard to all the other ones. And part of the story is like, oh, I have a superpower, I can swim in the water, and so then she like feels like the need to like help out all the other characters. So there's pretty much like 2 to like 5 of these things on the screen at the same time, and then each have a separate exit that they're supposed to get to. So it's pretty much using the properties of all the different ones to be able to like make little like steps for like the ones that can't jump high to climb up, or ones that can float in the water can transport you across like the stage. So it's a very interesting, fun little game there. And then I was also doing a little bit of Super Mario 3D World, but that was on Wii U. Didn't pick up Bowser's Fury yet, so it was fun still playing through those levels with my daughter as well. And then still at Fire Emblem Heroes on mobile, still going strong since launch day.
Nice. Dave's also started playing Xenoblade Future Connected. And Jared's did some Pokemon Go, Mario Kart Tour, 3D World, Animal Crossing, and did the Fuse demo, which was he said. So sounds good. Opposed to what I actually said last week, and my hopes and dreams and goals for playing this last week was to play several games, and I did not. I played some Rocket League and I played some Bowser's Fury, and that was it. And ended up completing Bowser's Fury. I did not 100% it yet. I'm quite a ways through it, but yeah, I haven't 100% it yet. Yeah, just really feeling like, do I have the desire to really go back and do all of it? I'm like, I'm not sure yet. So we'll see if I eventually go back to it and complete all of it. But for right now, I'm kind of, I think, ready to move on and pick up some other games. But yeah, I actually did some rearranging in my gaming office area here and moved my Xbox One into this room as well. It was the primary game system that was hooked up to our main living room TV, and I ended up moving that in here mainly because I wanted to play Rocket League on it, because I was wanting better picture and frame rate and things like that I was able to get from the Xbox, and also just have the analog control, like the for your LNR, for your gas and everything, and so decided to go ahead and bring the Xbox into here. So that's what I've actually been playing on recently, and it's nice to give the Xbox a little love because I hadn't really touched it in a few months, and similar to when I finally got my PS4 hooked up again a few months ago, it was nice to actually have that controller in my hand again, but which is fun. I like the controller and everything. It's just not good for Rocket League because I don't like having my thumb down on the left analog stick. I'd prefer it up and easier to reach. But that's what Jared talking about. He says he tried rearranging his stuff a little bit, but ended up doing was framing his Anuma autograph. That's really cool that you get an Anuma autograph. So yeah, it's what you can't see is it's not as organized as I'd want it to, but I did kind of move some stuff around and everything. I still got a ways to go as well. But yeah, that's what we've been playing. But now it's time to get into this week's main event. And really tonight, all we're going to be talking about for the most part, like there's like one little tiny announcement at the end that happened in addition to the Nintendo Direct. But we're just going to talk a lot about the Direct tonight. And here's what's going to happen. Here's how we're going to approach this. There were like 30 announcements in the Nintendo Direct this last week. And so we decided that's way too much. There's no way we're going to be able to keep it in our time range to be able to do that. The Direct itself was 50 minutes long. So there's no way that we are going to be able to do a deep dive into every little thing that was announced. So what we did was we're going to be highlighting the top 10 announcements. We're not going to necessarily say these are like number 1, number 2 sort of thing, but we're going to highlight 10 big announcements from the Nintendo Direct, and then we're going to make sure we do address the rest of them later in the podcast.
We should note, though, that these are the 10 collectively that we picked that are important to us. Yeah. They may not necessarily be your top 10, but these are our top 10.
Yeah, good point. Yeah, and it was collective. We just kind of like threw out some ideas, like, yeah, we should talk about this, and Barry said what he wanted to talk about, Greg what he wanted to talk about, kind of put them together, compiled that list down to 10, and that's what we're going to be really kind of diving in a little deeper with tonight. But like we said, we definitely are going to hit all of this. The announcements eventually. For those of you guys that have not checked it out yet, be sure to head over to NintendoFuse.com for an official roundup. Dave did an awesome article, just a roundup of all the different announcements that were shown off. So just head to NintendoFuse.com and you'll find all of those details and also the Direct itself, the video. So if you missed it, that's a great place to go and check that out. But let's start off with the first announcement, and that is that we got the next information about the next fighter in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. And Barry, how about you do the honors? I know this is near and dear to you.
I knew it was coming.
Who's the next fighter?
That's 2. It's Pyra and Mithra from Xenoblade Chronicles 2. One I've been calling for a long time, although I did call it with Rex and Adam, and I do kind of wish they were there as well as kind of a chain character like the Ice Climbers or Rosalina and Luma. But I knew they were coming. There was too many clues. It wasn't a matter of if they were coming, it was when. So many people I've seen like, wait, what? Where did this come from? And it was really easy to see if you watch the big direct at E3. Sakurai said that there were two franchises that didn't get in because they came along too late due to development, and that was ARMS and Xenoblade 2. And he really wanted Xenoblade 2, which is why we got the Rex outfit. And when Min Min was announced, it was only a matter of time. And you could tell, like, the first Fighter Pass, that was set by Nintendo, and the second Fighter Pass, which was added on, he was like, yeah, I want these two. And he did it so well. I was actually fooled. I watched a lot of reactions, and a lot of people were like, oh, yeah, this is Smash. And I didn't really see that gameplay not actual on the bottom. So I thought, is this an expansion? Is this like Xenoblade 3? Are they like setting it up? Is this going into how they're going to do this? Like, oh man, this is going to be good, because if you play Future Connected, you kind of, and then you play the other games, you kind of know a little bit the direction they're going with. And then when I realized, I was like, yes, finally! Like, that was such a good reveal trailer. And now people have listened to Xenoblade 2 music probably for the first time and heard how awesome it is. But like, they are so well implemented. I'm so happy. I kind of wish there was a spoiler, and I hope one of the outfits is kind of the spoiler, but I understand why they didn't do it. And I'm not going to say it here, because there's some people on this podcast that have not played Xenoblade 2 that need to play Xenoblade 2. I'm not going to mention any names. Steve, Greg.
Who would that be?
But yeah, I am through the roof, overjoyed. I'm so happy.
Barry, come on. You got to play Xenoblade 2.
And I hope you guys actually do now. I mean, Steve's at least played Torna, so he's at least familiar with the character to some extent.
Yeah,
but
half the character.
I do half the character, but I do wish you guys do play it, and I hope more people do. And as Amazon Japan sold out, I'm so happy about this. The sales are going up. This is the best thing for the Xenoblade franchise, and I'm so happy for Monolith Soft.
Yeah. It's definitely cool. A little surprised. I mean, not played, the full Xenoblade 2. It was a little shocking to me that they did go that direction. But then after I thought about it, I was like, okay, well, they do have more abilities that they could probably pull off as an actual Smash fighter, and so it makes more sense for them to go that direction instead of picking Rex. But he does make an appearance in the final Smash, so that's kind of nice.
Both final Smashes.
Yeah. Greg, any thoughts about this Smash reveal? Since you don't really any history with Xenoblade at all, so is this to get you excited?
I got to know Shulk just a tad in my small time with Xenoblade 1, but I mean, it's more just happy for Barry and other Xenoblade fans. It's still not going to convince me to get the Fighter Pass Volume 2 yet, so I'm still waiting for something that along those lines. And pretty much at this point, it might just be getting that one fighter individually, because I don't really know if I have to get all the rest of them. But I don't know. It's great for the people that really wanted them in there, and they looked very incredible and very strong. So I know people are going to have a lot of fun with it.
Yeah. Barry, I do have to say that I did go to Xenoblade 3 in my head when I first started seeing it as well. I didn't immediately jump to Smash. I thought that was either another expansion or 3 or something like that as well. So you weren't alone in that. Yeah.
I'm glad I'm not alone. And Xenoblade 3 is coming. I mean, the Monolith has been hiring people. Yeah. The main team, I don't know if the main team worked on Xenoblade Definitive Edition or that was the secondary team, but it's definitely on the way. I mean, I've seen some people go like, oh, yeah, give it to a niche JRPG series that doesn't sell. Like, it's selling really well. Xenoblade 2 sold over 2 million copies. Xenoblade 1 Definitive Edition sold over 1.4 million.
Yeah.
Like, it's selling really well for Nintendo. And you have to remember, Nintendo first-party characters are 100% easier for them to implement in a Nintendo fighting game. 100%. They will always have the rights because they own the characters. And it's one of those things where I'm waiting for the presentation that the Sakurai presents. it's going to come in March. They're coming in March, we should say, and so not that long of a wait. And Greg, will you pick up Xenoblade 2 now? Is this or Steve? Is this like, hey, maybe I should take a look into it now? Now it's definitely been put in there as an iconic Nintendo franchise and immortalized in Smash Brothers now.
I don't know, Greg. What do you think?
do we feed the beast or?
I'm still holding on the fact that like I need to finish Xenoblade X that I own and have not finished before I buy another game that is also going to have to sink 150 hours into that before I beat the one that I already own. So probably not, but maybe eventually. But I will not say it's going to happen anytime soon. Yeah.
I mean, I would like to have more time for it, but my RPG adventure game list is very long already, so it would just be tiny little bit of noise with probably lowest priority.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I don't know. Your daughter might enjoy it because it's a dark story, but it also has a lot of lighthearted moments, and characters like Tora she might get a kick out of. Although you might need to explain to your daughter some segments with Tora and why his blade that he builds is possibly used for other things or built for other intentions than fighting.
I forgot about that.
That means this game's at least 6 years off of the
yeah
before I play it. She's only 6. It's probably not appropriate.
She probably wouldn't even notice it. She'd probably be looking at the googly eyes on Tora and be like, "Oh, that's cute." I mean, it's done. It's a lot of it's done like under the table kind of deal where it's just said and implied, but they don't come out right and say it. But no,
yeah, go ahead.
Go on.
Oh, I was going to read what the chat was going to say. So
read the chat.
All right. Jakester just wanting the Mithra amiibo already. Charger says that after they release the Banjo Kazooie, he's down with anyone getting in. Happy just that the Banjo Kazooie got in. And then looks like Dave said the series as a whole is at 5 million. So yeah, it's definitely not a RPG series that no one knows about anymore. It's definitely reached I wouldn't say necessarily a household name, but it's a lot more known than it was before. Absolutely by now.
Yeah, what about the stage? Like I think the stage they chose, I mean, granted you guys haven't played the game, but I think what they did was kind of like a hero stage in Dragon Quest XI, where it kind of takes you all around the world to different locales and stuff, and that's what this is. Riding on Gramps, you could say the other Titans are going to be in the background, and much like Persona 5 stage, the different characters will be there in the background as well, or King of Fighters stage, and I like that. It's trying to cram as much in to the space allowed, and I think they're doing a really good job with that.
Yeah, it's cool. I think it's nice to see how they're able to do the stages like that. I'm not a huge fan of moving stages and things that kind of move normally, but I feel like they've done this one pretty well in order to kind of not be overwhelmed. It doesn't distract necessarily from what's going on, but it is kind of cool to be able to go into different environments and see different characters and stuff like that within it. So, Greg, do you have any thoughts about the stage?
Not really about the stage because I'm not super familiar with like a lot of it. So I mean, the moving stages, like you, it's not like my favorite, but sometimes it is nice to kind of see some different background settings and see different places within the game. Like, even though I'm huge into Fire Emblem, I'm not super huge into the Three Houses stage that you go all around the town. So like that's kind of lots of motion and very easy to get like left behind on the stage if there's like a little hole in the middle or something.
I don't think the stage itself is actually like moving. Like, I think it was the Island Delfino one where it moves and drops you off in different spots on the island. I don't think it's like that. I think it's literally just a platform they would be fighting on. It's just the background that's moving. So
Okay.
it's not actually the stage itself going and dropping off in different locations, and it's certainly not like Banjo, which Spiral Mountain, which I think is personally like my least favorite stage, just because it's always spinning, and that actually makes me dizzy because it's a spinning motion.
Right. Yeah, I think that was interesting too. Is like they really didn't show a whole lot off, and so some of those things are still a little bit. You're like, oh, I saw it, but what is it really like yet? So I think there's still a lot of mystery that we'll eventually find out, like I said, in March. But yeah, they kept a lot still in mystery. But at least we know who the next character is. How many we got left? Like two left
Two more.
after this. So yeah, put your guesses, your desires in the chat. We'd love to see who you guys are hoping for. Jared says he hopes to see Crash, Sora, or Spyro. That'd be cool to see those. I think Crash and Spyro for sure would be really cool to see. I don't know if we're gonna go that direction or not, but that'd be cool. Yeah, hopefully we get the rest of them all in 2021. They're not pushed off to 2022, but who knows? Let's jump into the next big announcement, and that is I didn't see this coming. I don't know about you guys, but this totally caught me off guard. And that's a little update to a game called Splatoon. We're getting Splatoon 3. Yeah, Splatoon 3. Definitely didn't see this coming. And it's also coming out in 2022. When they told us the Direct would be all early 2021 games. So this totally, I think, caught a lot of people off guard. But Splatoon 3 is going to be coming out, like I said, 2022. And yeah, it's the next game in the series, but you're going to leave Inkopolis this time and head to the regions of Splatlands. And it's a new city where battle-savvy Inklings and Octolings gather. Splatsville, also known as the City of Chaos. Splatoon 3 introduces various features to the action shooter series, including weapons such as bow weapon, customization options, all these different things, but also returning 4x4, 4v4 turf wars, matches, and there's going to be a lot more information shown in the future. Some of the things that they showed off in the Direct also is that you can kind of just pick whatever features for your character that you want. There's not necessarily going to be tied to male and female features, things like that. It's going to kind of be whatever features you want for your character. But yeah, Splatoon 3, the second iteration on the Switch. Maybe Switch Pro, maybe Switch 2, I don't know. But what do you guys think about this? Greg, did you see this coming? Or this only surprised me?
It definitely caught me off guard. I was not thinking they would have another iteration, at least on Switch, after having Splatoon 2, but it does kind of make sense because Splatoon 2, a lot of people were kind of more unhappy with it because it was like, oh, just more like a Splatoon 1.5. It wasn't really necessarily a 2. So hopefully this one means it's obviously somewhere completely different, so maybe they're taking completely like a different direction with it. So it is something that I'll definitely be looking for more information on, and we'll probably be picking up that one as well after enjoying the first two.
Nice. Barry, what do you think about Splatoon 3?
It definitely came out of nowhere. When the trailer first started, I thought it was going to be like a Splatoon-esque, like Fallout game, like an open world RPG style game, because it's kind of what it looked like. And then as it got closer, I was like, oh, I see what you're doing here. So really well done. I love the trailer, love the music, the remix. I'm happy for the Splatoon fans. I really enjoyed the first game. I did not open my second game, and I'm at a different point in my life, so I doubt I will play Splatoon 3, but who knows? Maybe between now and then I'll pop open Splatoon 2 and do the single player. But I'm really happy for those fans. I know they had to wait. They showed it early. You can tell that the COVID hit, so that this is what they had to use to show early. Like, they showed it earlier than they anticipated showing it, almost like, let's save this for E3. No, we need a big last thing at the end, because this Direct was supposed to be for the first half of 2021, and this is a 2022 game, so this definitely doesn't fit the mold. But it's great to see Nintendo still putting out new games for new IP, because it is still a newer IP. It's kind of crazy to think that Splatoon 3, or Splatoon as a whole, is going to get the third game in just a short amount of time. What, 7 years or something like that?
Something like that, because it's been 5 years since 2, but 2 came out, just 2 years after 1 or something like that?
Yeah, so it's like 7 years, and like Xenoblade is in the 11th year and has 3 games, and the third game came out in 2017, or if you count Torna, 2018, but that's a smaller experience. But it's definitely one of those. Splatoon's getting so much love, and it's great. I'm so happy for those players, and I hope it's a fantastic game. I don't know if I'll play it, but one thing that I didn't know about, and I heard about this secondhand because I didn't play Splatoon 2, but apparently the final Splatfest in Splatoon 1 shaped Splatoon 2's story, and the final Splatfest for Splatoon 2 was apparently Order versus Chaos, and Chaos won, and that is why the story in Splatoon 3 takes place this way in a world full of chaos. And that's really cool to think that they're letting the players dictate how the next game is going to be shaped up, and that I just think is a fantastic way to let the game grow organically.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I think the thing I was kind of shocked actually, that I feel like when I look at Splatoon, I look at the multiplayer side and I go, why do we keep getting iterations of this game? Why can't we just keep getting better enhanced versions, add more maps to it, and just make it a big game? But then I remember about the single player, which is really all that Greg plays for the most part, has played just the single player. So does it make more sense, Greg, thinking about the single player, that why they would definitely have Splatoon 2, 3, who knows how long they're going to go after this, rather than just keeping going on one version and adding modes to that?
I mean, I could definitely see how it'd be convenient just to have DLC updates. This could easily have been added to 2, but then I don't know, I think sometimes it's just nicer having a fresh, almost a fresh take on it. I know that they love to use that word too, so it kind of be interesting to see where the story's going to go this time, because obviously they had, if they're going to a completely new area, I don't know if that means Marina and Pearl and the original 2 Squid Sisters are even going to be making much of an appearance in this one, so I don't know how all this is going to tie in. Are they still going to use DJ Octavian as the final boss? I mean, I absolutely love that character. I really hope that he's a recurring villain like Bowser, so I would be definitely down if they continue him. But I mean, I guess it can still warrant a game as long as there's enough new things added in. So
yeah,
I don't know. It's kind of hard because I don't really would rather it be just continuous growing, but I do understand they can't really support that kind of model with they can't be charging a full game price for just extra DLC to it.
Yeah. We could talk about each of these for probably 30 minutes, but we got to move on. There was a lot of different announcements, and we've gotten through 2 of the 30 so far. We're going to keep on moving on, and I think another thing that we've been talking about for a while, there's been rumors and everything, but it's finally confirmed that Skyward Sword, Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword, is getting an HD remastered version coming to Switch. It's going to be available on July 16th. So, what do you guys think about Zelda Skyward Sword getting an HD remix? Barry, does this excite you? I know a lot of people have had differing opinions on the internet, which is kind of, I mean, of course, it's the internet, but yes, I kind of was before Breath of the Wild, Skyward Sword was one of my favorite 3D Zelda games. So I'm excited to see this. What do you think?
I'll say that if anyone went into this direct expecting them to do a Zelda 35th anniversary segment, they've never paid attention to Nintendo. There's no way that Zelda's not going to get its own direct like Mario did. They're just going to get the same treatment. And you can tell that they knew that everyone's waiting on Breath of the Wild 2, because the last time we saw it was E3 2019, which was the announcement. So we haven't seen anything in over a year and a half. And they even came out and said, "You're seeing me. You're expecting this. It's not happening right now." And you could tell they're just showing off Skyward Sword as a way to appease people, because if they showed nothing off, then people would get angry again, especially because I think it's August it comes out, and again, not the first
July.
half of 2021 or July.
July,
It's
yeah.
still not the first half, of 2021. June is the cutoff at the end of June, so it's the second half of 2021. You could tell they showed it off earlier, and I do think we'll see more of it in a Zelda-centric direct, probably coming closer to that point. But I am happy because, it's great to see these games get, re-released, updated. I thought about replaying it, and I was like, do I really want to do motion controls again? Like, it was fun, but it also got tiring. I mean, let's be honest. When you played a game for several hours and you were constantly holding up your hands, a lot of people just like dropped their hands to their side and like started wiggling and waggling, like whatever, let me just get through it. Because it does get tiring holding up your hands for hours on end. So I think this is a great solution. I'm probably going to mess around with it and at least try the controls. I saw a lot of people like, what about camera movements? What about camera movements? Because you use the right analog stick. And it seems that only applies if it's lock on. So when you lock on, you can't move the camera anyway. So if it's not locked on, the right analog stick, I would assume, would just move the camera, and maybe you just push like the A button and it just auto swings when you're just running around. Otherwise, hacking up grass is going to be really annoying to farm stuff. But I'm super excited. I think Skyward Sword didn't get the best reception. The E3 it was shown off, there was interference, which didn't help. There was a lot of backtracking, which people complained about, and then of course the Motion Plus being needed to play the game. A lot of people didn't bother getting it, and obviously the bundle that came with the Gold Wiimote Plus sold out really quickly. So I'm happy this is getting new life. I'm always happy for more Zelda on the Switch, and this is not the 35th anniversary. Like, this is just a part of it. I would be very shocked if this is all they do and they don't even brand it with the 35th anniversary. They're very shocked.
Yeah, absolutely, for sure. Like some people in the chat were talking about just how they did start off talking about Breath of the Wild 2, and they basically said we can't share any more information with you about it. So kind of got our hopes up a little bit, and then kind of dashed against the rocks. But at the same time, like we talked about it last episode, like we didn't really expect that to happen. And also there's a little information like the game is a $60 game. Before it was bundled with a Wii Remote Plus, but then all these different things. It is interesting. We have, it's been updated with, like you said, Barry, with different controls. And so you don't have to use motion controls if you don't want to. People are still wondering, can it be switched, left-handed, because Joy-Cons are different than the Wii Remote and nunchuck. So how's that going to work with left-handed people? Or you be actually able to switch to him, Link to left-handed? Will he be there in mirror mode? So many questions about this game. Is there going to be extra features in it? Greg, what do you think about all this? When you there's still so much unknown, even though it's an HD remaster of a game we've already had.
Yeah, it is kind of tricky because they haven't really shown if there's going to be additional features, so it kind of just seems like it's just going to be like a plain remaster with the upgraded visuals and probably fixing a number of the complaints around some of the backtracking and other things like that to make it more interactive and everything. So the price point's probably the hardest thing to swallow, but that On With You is one of my favorite Zelda games. So I really enjoyed the combat because it was much more advanced than just hit the button and boom, the enemy's dead. It's actually you have to be able to swing it using the certain angles that they were showing off. So I definitely am really looking forward to playing this again on Switch.
Yeah. And not only that, we're also getting some new Joy-Cons, so Hassan can go out and rush and get those for sure. But yeah, themed after the Master Sword and the Hylian Shield there as well. So pretty cool. I mean, as far as Joy-Cons go, I think these are some of the coolest, if not the coolest, ones that they have shown us and given us so far, as far as like special edition ones. Barry, you going to be running out and getting these Joy-Con?
I plan on it. I tried to pre-order it, and it was sold out so instantaneously. And I see people panicking, and I'm like, these are coming out in 6 months or 5 months or whatever. Like, there's going to be more. Like, I'm a huge Zelda fan, huge Zelda nut. I'm not concerned. I'll get these. So many people rush and panic over, will I get this? Will I get this? And for the most part, you can get it. 3D, All Stars, you can get it. The Game & Watch, you can get it. Even the Animal Crossing Switch system came back. So I'm excited for them. I do plan to get them, but I'm not going crazy for them. I will also say quickly, Skyward Sword appears to be running 60 frames per second this time instead of 30. So that is a huge improvement for people who want, faster FPS.
Absolutely.
So it's nice to see.
Yeah, it looks so much more smooth, which is really cool. Greg, you gonna be picking up the Joy-Con?
Really hope to try to, but I don't know if I'll end up with it in hand. It's always a completely different story with these special edition things.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I really want to. We'll see if I actually pick them up. But they're the first Joy-Con that they've released in a while. That's got me thinking, maybe I actually will go out and get them. But it's a pretty penny to pay $60 for the game, and what is it, $70 for a pair of Joy-Con on top of that. Yeah. So it's a pretty big investment for that. But you don't have to have the special Joy-Con. You can just buy the game. No. But yeah, it's definitely gonna be a better experience than playing it on the Wii, I think. So looking forward to it for sure, and also finding out more information about the game. Another game that I think made a lot of people happy, at least but I haven't seen a lot of people talking about it beyond the Direct, but I know there's a lot of big fans of the Mario Golf series, and we're going to get Mario Golf Super Rush. Brings back the story mode to the game as well, and some extra features, and it looks really good. When I saw it shown off, I was like, wow, this looks good. I don't know what the model they're using for Mario as a golfer. It looks really good too. So, and then I think one of the coolest things is they brought in Speedgolf. That's going to be so much fun to like be able to hit the ball, run, and just play in multiplayer with up to 3 other players. It's going to be a blast, I think. So, what do you guys think about Mario Golf? Are you guys big fans? Greg, what do you think?
I haven't really played too many games in the series, but that golf mode that you just talked about seemed very fun. So I don't know if that's something that I might have to check out, like borrow or rent the game or something, and just to have to play around with it. But I don't know if it's warranting a purchase for me at least yet.
Nice.
Barry, what do you think about Mario Golf?
When it came to the Mario sports games, golf was the one I touched the least, and I don't actually think I played a single Mario Golf. Golf is just one of the sports that has never really interested in me. I played, like NES, NES Open and stuff like that. I think the last golf game I honestly put any type of attention to was Golf by T&E Soft on the Virtual Boy, and that was more just because it was like, this is really cool. There's a 3D world here that I can explore by just hitting the ball and moving with it. Why can't we get a 3D platformer here? And yeah, I mean, I'm happy for the Mario Golf fans. I always preferred tennis, but yeah, it looks like there's a lot of cool ideas. I always found the RPG elements from the handheld, like the Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance, Mario Golf, really interesting. And to see that come back with the Miis, that's awesome. I'm happy for that. Mm-hmm. Speed Golf looks like a lot of fun for those that like golf. But even like playing mini golf, I just get frustrated with golf. And it's like one of those where I don't need to play it. I'll get it for the collection, but I probably won't touch it. Maybe my father-in-law will, but it's just one of those. I'm so happy for those that love Mario Golf. This one just wasn't for me.
Yeah, yeah. I like Mario Golf. I've not played them all, but they are fun to play. I actually don't care much about the story mode. I know for some people that's a big draw to the Mario Golf game, especially with story mode. But for me, it's about the fun aspects. It's not just a plain golf game. It's bringing that Mario elements into it, the power ups and things like that. And I think the idea of playing with 3 other friends with the Speedgolf can be really fun. It kind of seems like we have some other mixed reviews and mixed thoughts in the chat as well. Some people are big fans. Other people are like, yeah, I'm not really a big fan of Mario Golf. But that'd be cool. I am blanking on when that is coming out with all the issues and everything. That's going to be available on June 25th. So June 25th. So actually one that falls in most part the actual first half of 2021. Moving on, we got some information about another game from Square Enix called Project Triangle Strategy. And there's actually a demo available now, and I know at least Barry has checked this out. But yeah, this is kind of I'm what's Octopath Traveler? Is that kind of in the same vein as that game?
Same studio.
Same studio. So yeah, it kind of seems really cool. RPG that 3 nations battle for control of dwindling resources of salt and iron, and we don't know a whole lot about it, but it is turn-based battles and kind of a classic RPG, but in that same graphical style as their previous game, and it looks. I've always been intrigued mostly by the looks of Octopath Traveler and now Project Triangle Strategy. I think it just looks like a really cool game. But Barry, since you've tried the demo, what do you think?
I love the art style, and I love the voice acting. I thought was actually really well done, and the story seemed intriguing. Like they throw you into chapter 6, but as much of an RPG and a JRPG nut as I am, strategy RPGs just are not my jam. And I got to the end of the first battle and I was like, I've had enough. Mainly because it just dragged on. Like I enjoy battles that are over, relatively quickly, and not one that this is gonna take me 40 minutes to do this battle. Because you have something like 9 characters and everyone has to take their turns. And you're trying to learn, especially because you have to learn the characters in the demo. Like, what do you do? What do you do? And trying to place them accordingly. And I can tell that it has a lot of love to it. And of course, this is still early, and I could tell people who love strategy RPGs are probably going to really love this. It's just I've never really been a fan of strategy RPGs like this. Final Fantasy Tactics, Tactics Ogre, Fire Emblem. I've played many of the games and I've enjoyed some of them, but I don't know, this didn't grab me. It didn't just be like, yes, absolutely, this is a game I absolutely have to play. I'll take the survey, when they get it, but even when it comes out, I do not think that this is one that I'm going to invest any time into. Unlike Octopath, which I absolutely adored and definitely invested time. But I do encourage everybody to try the demo. I mean, try it for 20 minutes. Just know that it takes about 20 something minutes just to get to the first battle. Like, no joke, there's about 20 minutes worth of story you have to sit through, which for me was the best part because I love stories and RPGs. But it's not like I'm going to start the demo, boom, let me jump right into battle. No, you are going to get a huge amount of setup for that first battle.
Nice. Greg, what do you think about this this demo and this kind of the direction they're going with this game?
It definitely came off pretty exciting, at least what they've shown. I did download the demo, just haven't really had a chance to check it out yet. So it does. I know, at least when we were watching it live, a lot of people were like, "Oh, it's Fire Emblem, it's Fire Emblem," and I was like, "No, it kind of looks more like Octopath." And then it came to be known as the Octopath cross with Fire Emblem. So
yeah,
there's that part of it.
Yeah.
I mean, I do.
You know what it was?
Fire Emblem. What?
Oh, what I was gonna say is I was one of those that said Fire Emblem in our live thing, and the reason I did is when it said like the latest in like 2D, it said 2D to HD, but I read it was like 2D to 3D, and I know one of your predictions, Greg, was another Echoes, a Fire Emblem Echoes. So I'm like, oh, this is another Fire Emblem Echoes game. So like that's what I initially thought, and then it started clicking on me like, oh wait, no, this is more Octopath graphics. This is something new. But that was my initial thought. I'm like, oh, Greg's getting his Fire Emblem Echoes game.
Nice.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't really enjoy like Codename Steam, so I don't know. I have to see how this one plays out. So if it's more along that lines, then I might not enjoy it as much. But it was definitely something that looked really cool on paper. I just have to play the demo just to see if it's more in line with what I wanted.
Yeah. Yeah.
See, like I loved like Mario and Rabbids, which is another type of these. Like, I really enjoyed Mario and Rabbids. It was I felt more lighthearted and easier to get into and a little more fun. This one, it's much more hardcore. Like it's very much stat number crunching. Like every little thing matters. Positioning your people matter and all that stuff. And I mean, it's great for those that really want to dive into 40-minute battles, but it's just not for me.
Yeah. Yeah, same here. Yeah, I've never been a big fan of the strategy kind of games like that. But yeah, I absolutely love the graphical style. It looks really cool. But let's move on to the next couple games. In one, Famicom Detective Club, games that I am very unfamiliar with, but something tells me that Barry knows a little bit about these games. So Barry, tell us about why we should care about Famicom Detective Club.
Well, I don't really know like a lot about the games. I think my
you probably know a whole lot more than I do.
My first exposure was in Smash Brothers because I think there's a trophy for it and definitely spirits for it in Smash Ultimate. But I think it's so cool that they're taking, Famicom visual novel style games, updating them for 2021. And putting them to the Switch, and most importantly, localizing them. And I love visual novels. Some grab me more than others, but this is absolutely one of those that it looks really good, and I'm really intrigued, and I absolutely want to give these a shot because I love I'm not a big horror fan, but I like the horror elements, almost like the murder, like the mystery kind of things in visual novels. And yeah, I'm really excited for these.
That's cool. So yeah, so we're getting 2 of these, and yeah, they're coming out on May 14th, so not too long from now. But yeah, 2 different Famicom Detective Club games. Greg, what do you think about this? Is this something that you're going to get excited about? Like this little piece of Nintendo's history?
Well, I do think it's nice that they're localizing other games that have never been brought over here and at least updating them. I just wasn't too terribly familiar with it, and I probably need to look more to see if this is something that I was more interested in. I don't know if it's quite like a point and click type of game, or if it's more actually has more gameplay elements to it than that. I know it was advertised for 35 each, and that seems kind of steep for a older NES game, but I don't know. I'd have to see more into it.
Yeah.
Well, these are really redone. They're not like older NES games in terms of it's like a full remake.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's completely redone, which is interesting. Are there more in the series? I'm assuming there's probably more of these.
I don't think so. I mean, there could be, but I also kind of think it's neat that they kept the name. I mean, obviously the Famicom Detective Club was on the Famicom,
right?
A name that we did not get officially over here, even for the Famicom, which was the NES. They didn't call it the NES Detective Club, but they actually kept the Famicom name, which I think is really cool.
That's cool. Yeah, it seems like Dave's a big fan, or at least really excited about seeing those. So, yeah, if you guys know more about Famicom Detective Club, let us know in the chat or the comments afterwards. Tell us why we should be really excited about these games, for sure. But speaking of, going back into RPGs again, we got a little game called The Legend of Mana that's going to be coming out on June 24th. The beloved JRPG classic from Square Enix is returning fully remastered not 3D HD HD graphics and rearranging music and additional features. You can experience the timeless story of the Legend of Mana, like I said, on June 24th. So yeah, Greg, you're a big RPG fan. Are you excited about Legend of Mana coming to Switch in this HD format?
Well, I'm definitely excited for the fans of the game. I've never actually played any of the Mana games. I know it was kind of on my list to check out at some point. I haven't pulled the trigger on that first collection of Mana. I already see Barry shaking his head in disgust and probably about to give me another homework assignment.
He probably is, and the good thing is you can get that collection. Barry, you excited about this one?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
The Mana series was often forgotten about by Square, and it's great. It has this like renaissance. It started with the Secret of Mana remake on PS4, and then the Collection of Mana on Switch, and the Trials of Mana remake on the Switch and the PS4. And now it's the fourth game is coming over, or at least the fourth released here in the States, with Legend of Mana. I think it's kind of a step down from what I remember, because I did play and beat it on the PlayStation, and in a way it was a step down from Trials of Mana and Secret of Mana, but it has that same spirit. It's a little bit different because you build the world as opposed to going on an RPG adventure. Each like level is like a smaller chunk that you have to build in, and just a lot of fun. Great music. I love the fact that there's an arranged score that you can choose between, and just the fact that Mana is getting love, it shows that it's selling. And the fact that it's selling means maybe we'll get Dawn of Mana and Children of Mana and even Heroes of Mana done properly, or Sword of Mana. Maybe we'll get a second collection with those, and we'll see where it goes. And maybe a brand new Mana game. Maybe we'll finally get a new one instead of a remake or an HD, enhanced port. But it's just great to see more of this love from Square Enix and for the Mana series. And I am most likely going to be jumping back in and replaying this after so many years.
Yeah. That's cool. Yeah, I have not played many games in the Mana series, but all the ones that I have played, I've enjoyed for sure. So I loved how they're doing these HD remakes. Is cool. So maybe they are building up to a new one that they're going to be releasing, and kind of building some excitement by bringing these old ones back in HD format. So that's pretty cool. Let's move on to next announcement. A little game called World's End Club. It's going to be available on May 28th, 2021. So just a few months away. Renowned game writers Katoro, I cannot pronounce their names. I apologize for that. But they return with a brand new game that's easy to dive into and full of twists and turns. Charming and vivid story of friendship and mystery that will captivate and both new and experienced players alike. And it's about this misfit group of students from all over Japan, and they find themselves trapped in a strange theme park during a class trip. And so kind of seems really, really interesting, and kind of just one of those stories that like you're like, I'm intrigued enough to like, okay, I want to know what's going on for this game for sure. So Barry, what do you think about World's End Club?
This was one of my top games of the show, period. While I haven't played the Danganronpa series, and that's mainly because the price keeps rising, and thus I don't want to open my copies of the game, even though I do want to play them. He also did Zero Escape, and Zero Escape is one of my favorite series, especially in the visual novel genre. Absolutely, I think people owe it to themselves to play the Zero Escape series. It's so good, and to see another game from him, like absolutely, like when you do well enough with games, you want to see their next outing, and you trust in them. And this definitely seems different than the others. This doesn't seem like as much visual novel. It seems like there's bosses and there's action and platforming with visual novel elements, which is really cool because that's one of the things he does. is he doesn't do like a straight visual novel where you're just reading. There's a lot of other gameplay, like in Zero Escape. You have the visual novel segments, but then you have escape rooms where you have to figure out, you're trapped in a room, you have to figure out how to get out and figure out the puzzle. And you are moving around the room and picking up items and using, like old school LucasArts adventure. And I love that. So I'm really excited to see what he pulls together with this.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Greg, is World's End Club going to be up your alley?
I don't know. I mean, I didn't seem too captivated by like the initial trailer, but definitely think it might be revisiting more. 'Cause, I mean, some of the mystery kind of stuff does seem like it could be kind of fun to play through, and the story did seem kind of very catching, like just how that's field trip gone wrong kind of thing. So I don't know. It's probably going to need a lot more information on it before I can really make like a decision on it.
Cool. Looks like the chat room is kind of mixed on this. Some people are like this. I've never played any of the other games. I don't know anything about it, but I'm intrigued. And a couple others are definitely excited about this game. Charger says very excited about this game. Big fan of Zero Escape as well. So yeah, I think it's definitely intriguing for sure. And depending on when I'm playing around that time, I may end up picking it up. We'll see. I'm not a huge fan of the visual novel, but I love how like you said, there's other elements that he's brought in, and this is not just a straight up visual novel game. So that definitely is intriguing too. Let's move on, and we found out a little more about Travis Touchdown in No More Heroes 3, as Travis is going to be back on August 27th is when No More Heroes 3 is finally going to touchdown on Nintendo Switch, and he's got new improved Death Glove, as he battles aliens and just kind of tries to save the world from alien invaders and some other stuff like that. Are you guys No More Heroes fans? I know we haven't really talked over the years a whole lot about No More Heroes, but I know it's a game that a lot of people really enjoy. They've been really excited about this third iteration of the game. Greg, is this something, now that we've seen more, we have a release date, it's getting closer and closer, are you excited about playing as Travis Touchdown again?
I never played the first two games, so waiting for Barry to do his shake again, because he always seems to be disappointed when I don't play something. I don't know. It didn't really seem to grab like me, so it didn't seem like I was terribly interested in it. But I'm definitely happy for people that are looking forward to it and really want to play it. So it wasn't. I don't know if it's my type of game, but it definitely didn't really grab me to feel like I should check it out.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you. I think it's an interesting concept for sure, but it's never been the game that I run to. Barry, what are your thoughts around No More Heroes 3?
I'm very excited for those that have been waiting for a while. I played a little bit of the No More Heroes, the first one, when we never finished it. Never played the second. I did play Travis Strikes Again and beat that on the Switch it was a drought at that point when it came out. So I'm like, I'll play this. And that was very much like an acid trip. It was just a very weird game. And of course, it is the worst of them all. But I'm waiting for 1 and 2 to get physicals on Switch. But I'm excited for 3. I'm like that. This has some elements from 1, like the chores, and then even like the Death Glove, which is from Travis Strikes Again. So it's like, cool, you're bringing in all these elements from the games. You are truly continuing it, and Suda 51 is just awesome.
That's very true. It seems like some people are pretty excited. Jared already pre-ordered it, and but Jakesters, it seems like a lot. This is kind of the theme so far. Is that there's some people that are excited about these games, and some people that are like, I'm not that interested. But that's cool. It seems like there's a little bit for everyone so far. And that brings us to our last big announcement that we're going to talk about, and yet another RPG on the list, which I know definitely excites Barry, and usually excites Greg as well, unless it's a series that he hasn't played, and then it upsets Barry because you know. But yeah, we're gonna get we're getting the Saga Frontier remastered. This is coming really soon, April 15th. We're gonna be getting this game. It's only $24.99, so that's pretty exciting. And yeah, this 1998 game remastered, kind of reborn, of course, in this new graphical style. A new main character named Fuse, which we will take all the royalties that you want to give us for that. Thank you so much for naming your new main character after our website and podcast. Thank you so much. But yeah, they're gonna have phantom cutscenes, improved graphics, extensive new features, and like I said, coming out on April 15th, so tax day. You can get Saga Frontier Remastered. Barry, what are your thoughts around this one?
I think this is great. This is another classic PS1 RPG along with Legend of Mana that's coming to the Switch. Hopefully they bring the second one as well. It's nice. The Switch is just like Mana is getting a lot of Saga love. Romancing Saga 3 came out, and then there's just the collection of Saga that just came out with the Final Fantasy Legend games, and now this. This is great. I think Saga it's a unique JRPG series, and again another often forgotten one from Square Enix. And I look forward to definitely diving into this when it comes out, for sure.
Cool. Yeah, it seems like Square Enix is kind of diving into a lot of stuff and bringing their old IP and remastering it and making it new for hopefully maybe a new audience and fans of the past as well. Greg, is this something you've ever gotten into before, or maybe is this going to be the time that you're able to jump into the series?
Yeah, this is going to be another one that I have to research more because I didn't have a PlayStation 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, whatever. So, with no real immediate plans for those. But, yeah, so I usually like the Square Enix RPG games, so it definitely would be something that I should see, like how they handle it, the combats and everything like that in this one. So, there's certain styles of ones that I do like, and there's other ones that are usually more of a hard pass. So, I'll probably have to wait to see a little bit more of the gameplay footage to make a decision on if it's worth checking it out.
Yeah, for sure. I think of the old games, I'm a bigger fan of the Mana series, and pretty excited that those games are getting remastered and coming into HD format and everything. Saga's probably not one of those that are on top of my list. I'd rather, I think, go back and play more of the Mana series myself. But I have heard really good things about this series, and yeah, it's cool. We're getting more and more of them on Switch. So the people that haven't owned PlayStations 1 through 6 and then 8, that's that they can actually also enjoy these games for sure. So, well, that brings us to the end of the big announcements, but there were 20 other announcements that happened during this Nintendo Direct. So what we're going to do is we're going to quickly just run through those one at a time and just kind of highlight them to make sure that you know about them. We do encourage you to head to NintendoFuse.com so you can read all the details, watch the entire Direct is there as well. But in case you did miss it, or in case you forgot what was announced, we're just going to quickly run through the rest of these games. So Greg, start us off. What's the one of the first ones of the rest of these announcements?
Okay, so we're going to be getting a new Star Wars game called Star Wars Hunters. This is a real-time battle game inspired by the Star Wars locales, and players can join squads together, including bounty hunters and heroes of rebellion or stormtroopers, and pretty much some action-packed, fast-paced Star Wars game. It will be released at some point this year. No exact time frame, but it just said 2021.
We also got a brand new trailer for Monster Hunter Rise coming out very soon. showing off just some new monsters. If you haven't already yet, you can play the demo, which is, I believe, still available on the eShop. We also saw a deluxe edition Switch that will be coming, as well as a Pro controller, a Monster Hunter Pro controller, and all of this comes out on March 26th.
Nice. We're also getting a game that first showed up on the 3DS, I believe, and that's Metopia. So Metopia is, as soon as I can get this pulled up on the screen, there we go. Metopia is making a return on the Nintendo Switch on May 21st. So get your Miis ready and jump into this crazy story of Metopia on May 21st for $49.99. $49.99. Too many nines there.
Fans of the Netflix series of DC's superhero girls, Teen Power, they're getting their own game that's going to be launching later this year, so you can pretty much suit up as like their favorite characters from the TV show, like Batgirl and Green Lantern and Supergirl, and as they take on different villains that they come across, along with what it's like being a high school girl again. So that's your cup of tea, or your family is really into it, like my daughter is, then you'll want to check it out on June 4th.
I can't wait to feel like a high school girl again. Oh my God. So probably what was universally the weirdest and probably least enjoyable trailer shown off came from the company, actually, I believe, that made Mario Kart Tour, is one of those EA original games. Mm-hmm. It is called Knockout City. It is looks like an online dodgeball style game. The trailer was very weird, showing different other game characters playing this dodgeball Knockout City. But this will be hitting the Switch on May 21st.
It's so weird. Speaking of Knockout, though, Fall Boy, the ultimate not Fall Boy.
Fall
That's
Boy.
An entirely different thing. Fall Guys. So they've grown up. They're guys now. Fall Guys Ultimate Knockout is finally coming to Nintendo Switch. Been rumored, been talked about for a while. It's going to be available this summer. So if you have not gotten to play Fall Guys on the other consoles or PC now, soon, this summer is going to be your chance to play this Battle Royale 60-player multiplayer online free-for-all platformer kind of game to just see who can get to the end of the race the fastest and play all these different games against each other. It's a really fun game, but it can also be very frustrating. But yeah, like I said, that's going to be available this summer.
Fans of Planting and the Undead can check out Plants vs. Zombies Battle for the Neighborhood Complete Edition. Pretty much it's the same kind of thing you would expect from the series. You can tackle hilarious missions, defeat epic bosses, and collect medals, unlocked outfits, play with up to 3 friends. There's even some 8 vs. 8 multiplayer. It even has their own turf war, along with another number of other types of modes. You can actually check it out next month on March 19th for $39.99.
Now, if you've ever wanted to see what Majora's Mask looks like in space, then we've got the game for you coming to the Switch. It's called Outer Wilds. It is out on other platforms already, but this is a space adventure where you only have a few hours before, or a few days before, the whole world blows up, the sun blows up, and you've got to rewind time, and you don't know why you're rewinding time, but you are, and trying to figure out the mysteries. And if that sounds like something that really intrigues you, you'll be able to do that on the Switch this summer.
Absolutely. And then Apex Legends, we've talked about that before. The official date is March 9th. So if you're, speaking of Battle Royale games, if you're into that sort of thing, Apex is finally hitting the Nintendo Switch on March 9th.
In case you're still playing Animal Crossing, I know the anniversary is coming right around the corner, but to finish off the Super Mario Brothers anniversary, they showed a trailer for the items we can expect to get in just a few short days. So starting on March 1st, you can start dressing up your villager or your main characters as Mario, Luigi, Peach, or Wario. There's a plethora of different items that you can collect, like their shoes and shirts and hats and mustaches, along with a number of Mario themed items like uh, mushroom platforms, coin blocks, coins, thwomps, and even a warp pipe that allows you to take you to different parts of your island, whichever you can place them anywhere, including inside of your house. In addition, there's also a few other seasonal items that will be part of the update, including for Pi Day and Shamrock Day and stuff along those lines. You can check out. There's information on Nintendo of America's Twitter account regarding this. All these extra items that were announced as well. It'll be starting on Thursday. The update will launch with most of the items being for sale on March 1st.
Speaking of awesome games that are getting downloadable content, Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity was shown off very briefly in a very quick trailer, and a list of information about the expansion pass that you actually had to pause to read it all because it went by so quickly. But it will be coming in 2 waves, and you will also get a purchase bonus, which will go live on May 28th, with Wave 1 hitting June 2021, and Wave 2 hitting the Switch November 2021. And this is going to cost $20, and you can pre-order it now.
And following in the lines of Hyrule Warriors, we got Samurai Warriors 5 that's going to be coming to the Switch in summer 2021. And this is the latest entry in the series with revamped character designs and a vibrant illustrated art style. Samurai Warriors 5 dives into the Sengoku period, and shines a spotlight on some other things that I can't pronounce. But like I said, it's coming to Nintendo Switch this summer.
Seems like a fitting theme for this direct was a lot of games from the NES brought forward, and another one of those games was Ghosts and Goblins Resurrection. So you can see the remastered game that's back from the grave, has complete that nostalgic feel where you get to control the little knight guy that shoots weapons at a bunch of zombies. Pretty much a nice love letter to the original titles, and has the same punishing gameplay as you would remember on the original. You can check it out in just 2 days. It launches on February 25th.
And if you're a purist and you absolutely hate all these remakes, you can actually go back and play original Capcom arcade games in Capcom Arcade Stadium. This is right now available on the Switch for free, and that's in quotes, because by free you get 1943 for free, and then you can also purchase 3 different packs of games for $15 a piece, or a bundle. I believe it's $40 to get all 3. However, there is one additional pack for Ghosts and Goblins, the originals. So screw the Resurrection. You want the purest form. You can get it right now for free, but only until February 24th. That's tomorrow. So if you haven't yet, download it and enjoy that hellacious game for free.
Nice. We're also getting a game called Neon White that's going to be available this winter, which is interesting because that's also not first half of 2021. But in spite of that, it's a lightning fast first-person action game about exterminating demons in heaven, which is just a strange concept in itself, because normally you don't put demons in heaven together. But you play this White character, and he's an assassin handpicked from hell to compete with other demon slayers for a chance to live permanently in heaven. Really interesting concept, kind of crazy and out there, but lightning fast action. And like I said, it comes this winter.
We also had another short trailer for another small series from an RPG standpoint. It's actually, I'm just kidding, obviously. This is Bravely Default 2. We've known about this for at least over the past year, so I know you've heard me and Barry say how much we're excited for it. So they did release one final demo to hopefully to win you over to try to see if you can enjoy this awesome experience of the game, because the first 2 were absolutely amazing. A reminder, it comes out on February 26th, and you can pre-order it now and hopefully enjoy it on release.
if you're a fan of Borderlands and now you can actually play Borderlands on the Switch, well, there's one that you haven't been able to, and that is Tales from the Borderlands. One of the Telltale games that has been saved, is getting a Switch release. This takes place between Borderlands 2 and 3. All 5 episodes will be included, but knowing 2K, who knows about the physical release, you'll probably get half of the first episode and then have to download the rest. But we'll see. But if that is something that interests you, that comes out March 24th.
Nice. It's so true, though. Another game that is a little out there is called Stubbs the Zombie in Rebel Without a Pulse. So you're going to be able to play as Stubbs the Zombie on March 16th for $19.99. So if you want a zombie game that's kind of just really out there, and you're going to be eating brains and chomping on the living and replenish your body arsenal and possessing the punch bowl population, clamp your severed hand into a barbershop quartet singer's head and a ray gun. Like this is crazy. Like all those different things that are going to be combined in this game, and it's just really, really out there. But if that's your thing, March 16th is the date that you can play Stubbs the Zombie in Rebel Without a Pulse.
Going back to the remaster and collection settings, we have Ninja Gaiden, however you want to say it. That we have a package of the first 3 games coming to Nintendo Switch. You can control Ryu along with the 4 female characters, which I will butcher their names, so I won't try. You can pair up with your favorite characters. You can switch between them during battles, and pretty much you got all the DLC and everything that was in the originals. So you get Ninja Gaiden Sigma 2, and Razor's Edge. You get all the classic costumes and DLC costumes as well, along with online multiplayer and clan battle and such. You can check it out on June 10th.
If you watched the Game Awards last year and you were totally disappointed by the winner, well, one of the nominees is actually coming back to the Switch in the way that we really wanted it from the beginning, as a physical release. That's right, Hades is coming to the Switch on March 19th as a physical release with a download code for the soundtrack and mini art book inside, and of course the game. And for all of those like myself that have wanted to play it but have been holding out for a physical, your prayers have been answered come March 19th.
Nice. And one more announcement that we got today, I believe, is when they finally confirmed it. So it has nothing to do with the Nintendo Direct, but it is important to note that Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2 is officially coming to the Nintendo Switch in March. There was kind of some interesting and fun interchange tweets that were kind of going back and forth between Tony Hawk and Activision and Crash Bandicoot and Nintendo. All these you kind of have just this fun banter on Twitter, and officially we got Tony Hawk Pro Skater. This is the remake that's been out for other consoles, but it's officially coming to the Switch in March. So yeah, that's a lot of announcements, a lot to go through tonight. For those of you guys that have been bearing with us through some stream problems that we've had and things like that, thanks for being with us. Before we wrap up, before we talk about what we're going to be playing over the next week, I just want to get quick feedback, thoughts. Our first Nintendo Direct in a year and a half. What's your overall opinion about what they showed off, all that sort of thing? Just kind of your overall, maybe you don't have to give it a grade, but just kind of your thoughts and review of the Nintendo Direct itself. Greg, let's give you first.
I mean, overall, a lot of the games didn't really seem to fit like my interest, but definitely excited for everybody else that is getting games that they're in series and stuff that they enjoy. So there are definitely a few highlights that I did take that I'm really looking forward to. So I think overall it was still a pretty solid Direct to have, and definitely a very welcome one. I just hope we don't have to wait another 500 days before the next one.
Yeah, absolutely. Barry, what do you think about this Nintendo Direct?
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad we finally got one. I hope we see them more often again. This was filled with a lot of games that I really look forward to. I love RPGs, and there was a lot of them in this. If I had to give it normally a grade, I would probably give it an 8.5. That counts everything but the first announcement. Counting the first announcement of Pyra and Mithra, that definitely puts it up to a 9, to a 9.5, simply because of that. And I know that's not going to happen again. And I know the next two Smash characters are most likely not going to get me anywhere near as hyped. So I'm gonna give it that extra boost from that, because I know the next time it's not going to get like that.
Yeah, for sure. I thought that it was pretty good. I think it was interesting. Of course, always reading through, other people's thoughts and everything online, and people had very, very mixed opinions and some negative opinions about the direct and everything. But I was surprised by a lot of things that I did not see coming. And I think it seems like there's something in there for everyone. Even if not everything appealed, I feel like there's you can at least grab a hold of something that excites you from this direct, since there was so much shown off. But yeah, like you guys have said, I really hope we don't have to wait another year and a half to get another one. It seems like they are going to be starting to do this more often. It seems like even how they announced it at the beginning that they were doing the monthly other mini directs as kind of a filler that's how I took it. That this is kind of like, yeah, we were doing that, but now it's time for a real direct again. So hopefully we do get these every couple months, and we do have the all digital E3 this year, so it could be really exciting what they show off for that, and maybe that's when we're going to get a lot of information about Zelda's 35th. All right, well, let's talk about what we are hoping to play over the next week or so. But before we do that, number one, just remind you guys, if you haven't subscribed yet, be sure to do that. If you haven't liked the video, if you haven't shared this with friends, be sure to do that. Follow us on social media, join our Discord. We would love for you guys to do that. But let's take a look at what's coming out over this next week. There's just a few games, maybe a couple that I know that maybe Barry's going to be excited about. I don't know, but yeah, it's there's
Xenoblade's not coming out next week.
Oh, Barry doesn't know anything about Xenoblade. But we've talked about Ghost and Goblins Resurrections coming out. Also, Bravely Default 2 is coming out, and Harvest Moon: One World is also coming out over this next week. But yeah, as we let these releases scroll on the screen, what are you guys excited about that's coming out? What are you hoping to play over this next week? Barry, let's go to you first.
It's all going to be Persona 5 Strikers for me. For this my main game until I finish that, and then Bravely Default 2. So if I finish Strikers before Bravely Default 2 comes out, I'll be playing Bravely Default 2 right away. If it takes me, to the weekend, then I'll be doing Bravely Default 2 when I finish Strikers. I'll still be doing Animal Crossing, to get that download ready to go for the Mario items, of course, and my usual stuff. But those are the main things I'm looking forward to.
Nice. Greg, how about you?
It's pretty much just Bravely Default 2, I think. I know there's quite a list on my backlog as well, so I hope to get it close to release, but I don't know. Still have to figure out finances and everything. So hopefully I don't have to wait too long for it.
Yeah. I actually, I'm going to say it again. Same thing, repeat from last week. Hoping to get back into Hyrule Warriors and maybe Spider-Man on PS4. Because while I know that those games are going to be great, and I know you guys are going to absolutely enjoy Bravely Default 2, has not been something I'm getting into. And honestly, if I'm going to jump back into an RPG, it's probably going to be a Xenoblade game or something like that instead of the Bravely games. But I know that those are going to be exciting, and I'm excited for you guys that are to end of that series because it looks really great. But probably, hopefully, maybe I'll get back into Hyrule Warriors and finish that game up, and maybe play some more Spider-Man. Of course, I'm going to be playing Rocket League. But let's see. Jakester says that he's hoping to do his last week of Tokyo Mirage sessions before jumping on Pikmin 1. and he's also not getting Bravely either. So we're not alone. Jakester, we finally have something in common. Neither of us are getting Bravely Default 2. But be sure to let us know what you guys are going to be playing as well. What's that?
We're missing out on a really good series.
Absolutely. Yep. I couldn't agree more.
There you go. Well, let us know what you guys think about Bravely Default 2 and any other games that you're excited to play over this next week. Our next podcast is going to be on March 2nd, so we'll be back live and hopefully without any internet interruptions or any other issues with my hardware or anything like that. We'll see. Donations welcome. I can upgrade my RAM or whatever else I need to do and maybe fix my router. Who knows? That's maybe next week's probably going to come around and I'm going to be like, well, I had hopes to play all these games, but really I was just working on my computer all week. But hopefully that's not the case. Lots of cool stuff happening. Be sure to join a Discord. You guys can talk a lot more in there and share all your thoughts that you can get to talk about in the podcast chat room. We'd love to hear all about that. Greg, Barry, anything else before we wrap up for tonight?
I'm good. Just happy gaming.
Yep, happy gaming, everybody.
Cool. Well, thank you guys for joining us, and as has already been said, happy gaming.